Apex Legends is a funny little game, given the fact that I know that it's still super popular even years after release. It's not one of those massively online multiplayer shooters that is talked about in the same breath as Fortnite, Overwatch, whatever the trend of the minute, like Marvel Rivals is, but never held in that same conversation, even though it still has a thriving player base. And you think that it would, because the other heavy hitter in that same category, Call of Duty, this is the team that revolutionized the genre with a little game called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Most of the minds behind that were at Infinity Ward at the time developing COD 4 ended up creating Respawn Entertainment. It immediately got bought up by EA, and then they spun off and they made the very first Titanfall game, which was very underwhelming when it first launched, mostly because Respawn, with their reinvention of the FPS genre, heavy emphasis on story and providing a damn good story, all things considered, on top of feature-rich and compelling gameplay. So the fact that Titanfall 2 didn't have a dedicated campaign, that was a little bit off-putting. The gameplay was fun enough, it just wasn't exactly living up to expectations. And then when Titanfall 2 came around, that story is still banger, the gameplay mechanics are tremendous, and they really had built something incredible right there. So in rumblings that Respawn was working on something else, people were thinking, oh, is it going to be Titanfall 3? And then nope, it's going to be a free-to-play shooter with all of the same mechanics of Titanfall. And don't worry, you can get as much gameplay as you want because we're never going back to Titanfall. It's going to be all about Apex Legends moving forward. Oh, great. Fantastic. And since then, the years since, it's like, all of those brilliant minds are just wasting away working on one singular project. But like I said, I know it's popular, it's not my cup of tea, and given how otherwise successful EA is, they're more than content with keeping this little pet project going, hoping that it'll eventually either outlast or lap the rest of the competition. But they're doing a difficult thing here by trying to walk the line between having a healthy game community and just banning everybody off the platform, because it hasn't been around as long as some of its other competitors, but it's done a damn good job of policing the environment. Because check this out, Apex has banned over 6 million accounts since launch. Now 6 million, it's like, or maybe we're inflating the numbers a little bit, maybe it's a little bit closer to about 250,000, somewhere in on and around that area. It's all still bad either way that you slice it. It's just, do we need to get so hyperbolic? Anyways, Respawn have revealed that over 6 million Apex Legends accounts have been banned since the game's first release. The surprising statistic is shared as part of an update about the game's anti-cheat, following a rise of a number of complaints about cheaters in the game. Yeah, that was another thing, right? Like after the game first launched and people were upset that it wasn't Titanfall 3, but then, they played it and it was like, actually, this is pretty good. Okay, all of our concerns, all of our squabbles are kind of thrown by the wayside. But not long after that, it kind of looked like the game was destined for failure, because it was getting hit hard with bots and cheaters for sure. During the back end of season 21, top level of ranked was almost unplayable. Yeah, with cheaters rife in every single lobby. That was also the problem with Titanfall 2 as well. The multiplayer became unplayable. In fact, it ended up getting taken offline and then brought back thanks to tremendous community support. But anyways, that's another topic for another time. Respawn committed to a more open dialogue about the issue, sharing a detailed update on X, formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, we know. Are we still doing that stuff? Jeez. And there are more than 100,000 Apex bans on average each month. That's crazy. Well, it can feel frustrating when you encounter a cheater in Apex. The information shared today shows the action is being taken on a regular basis to fight cheaters. And yeah, there's a more comprehensive breakdown of what they're doing out here. But yeah, taking a look at the bans by type, you've got 205,000 permanent bans as of July of 2024. Oh no, rather, that's just for that time period. Holy crap. And you can see why. Okay, the reason given for those bans, 193,000 for cheating and only 16,500 for using bots. So just either cannon fodder, or does that include aimbots, or is that aimbots thrown into cheating because you got specific nomenclature for bots? But it doesn't really much matter. So yeah, if they're doing this type of policing when it comes to banning, that's totally fine. It just gets a little bit more interesting because there are additional bans that are getting thrown into those enormous totals. Okay, and it has to do with something we talked about not that long ago, in fact. It has to do with what used to be the staple of online gameplay, and it's not even anything that harsh. EA bans Apex Legends player for telling another player to don't be gay. And it really is that simple. Electronic Arts, yes, reportedly banned an Apex Legends player entire EA account, for telling another player to don't be gay. A screenshot from the Apex Legends player was shared by ex-user Pirate Nation. It was declared that the player's EA account, the entire account, bro, was banned for telling another player don't be gay. EA explained, "We consider this to be hateful content." It then declared, "You can no longer play EA games on this account. Wow, we removed your payment details from our system, so you won't get any more charges from us." And so any EA games, any other games that you have bought before that are linked to that account will no longer be playable. Because, yeah, here's the screenshot. There might be more context to this, but I kind of doubt that because this looks reasonably official. It looks like your EA account broke the rules of our positive player charter. Ugh. While reviewing your account, we saw Apex Legends, okay, the offending game, and then you have whoever he was talking to, don't be gay. We consider this to be hateful content. You can no longer play EA games on this account. We have removed your payment details, and wow, that is Orwellian as hell. It is unclear exactly what the context of the comment is. Regardless, no one should be gay. That's a bold statement. I frankly don't care, also because I think wielding it as a pejorative is kind of hilarious, but this is also not the first time EA has banned players for what could also be described as trash talk, yes, depending on the context. Back in November of 2023, the Van 3D informed another Apex Legend player to STFU, really, and he was banned for harassment. What? You got the exact same, yeah, Van 3D, yeah, that's okay, that's his account, STFU. That is wild. We consider this to be harassment. We are banning your account. At least that is taking place in the game. Not saying it's good or anything like that. Are you no watching over me? Yeah, no longer to play games on this one. Then you got another one. Why teabagging? That's crazy. Just asking. It's like, why are you teabagging, bro? Yeah, the game is still hyper popular like it shows right here. But the community crackdowns, they're coming in hard and fast, okay? Because we talked about this not that long ago with Riot Games banning players for off-platform conduct, okay? Like if you have one of their launchers active in the background, you say some unbecoming things on other forms of social media, they'll just go ahead and get rid of your account. This is some wild stuff, man. As somebody who grew up in those Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, words are hard apparently today, Halo 3, Halo Reach days, it's like, that was fun. Here's the thing, okay? If you had toxic people harassing you, you could just go ahead and mute the chat, okay? Because as much as people want to romanticize that era, it was also, you know, the time whenever you'd have some 12-year-old with a very loud music in the background, dogs barking, just incessant chatter. So normally, whenever I was going into a game, I would normally have things muted off rip. But if I was squatting up with some people that, you know, I was just meeting randoms online, then yeah, you'd have comms open and it could be a hell of a good time. But now you're walking on eggshells with Riot banning people for not even things that they're doing in the game, for EA just banning people because it sounds like it could be taken to be offensive. And then you also have Ubisoft, which, depending on their outcome of the first half of 2025, this might not be a problem for them moving forward, but you're banning people in Rainbow Six for simply typing out the Spanish word for black. You type negro in the chat. You type negro out there, okay? They can't hear the rolling R's, okay? So I understand context is important. You type that in the chat and you catch a multi-hour ban for that. Aiming has become incredibly soft, especially at the corporate level. So as much as we all validly complain about the terrible writing, awful character designs, censorship of all forms and fashion, there are so many aspects as to why gaming is in the state that it's in right now and why the indie devs and the proper Eastern, not Chinese owned and operated companies are the last bastions of hope for this once great pastime. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.